Wow.
Hey, how you doing? This is Mike on the south side of Chicago with Chicago Less Lethal. And in today's video, we're going to show you the simplest way to put HPA on an HDB68. And without further ado, let's get the video started. So basically, you just take your HDB with this cap, you take it off, you get an HPA adapter, you screw it on, you put your HPA bottle in there, and you're done. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. We're going to go a little bit further than that. That's probably going to be the end result that you just saw. So basically, I've got some stuff done here just to speed up the process. You got your HDB. Obviously, you can see one of the sling holes is gone, because this is a market that's already been taken apart. So basically, the first thing you do, there is a pin right here. It's not sticking out, but you have to hit it from this side going this way, and boom, you pop it out. The reason is, if you could see that, that's knurled right there on the end. So you pop it out from the left side to the right side. You could use a punch if you have a small punch, or I have used Allen keys, smaller ones, anything that's, you know, pretty sturdy to work with a little hammer. The punch is the best though, so I'm gonna put that over there. Next thing you do, you take out all the screws. I think there's like 12. You take all those off. Up top, 2 Allen screws on this Picatinny. You take those 2, boom, this pops off. Put that over here. And you pop this guy off. Will come off like so. Okay. That's done. Next, you take your clamshell apart. Dun, dun, dun. That's done. And then with your clamshell, next you got these 3 screws right here. You take those 3. This thing will lift up, and then you slide this off the front like so. You then have your valve assembly, casing, barrel. Take that out. Next, you loosen up all these screws, and to speed it up, I already did one. So we're going to put this over there for now, so we don't need that no more. So once you get to like this part here, you take all these screws off. There's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or they're like 6 or something, I don't know. You take a small flathead like so, and you just work it around, and then you slowly and very gently pull this off, and then you get the inside that looks like this. Obviously, at that time, you're going to pull the barrel out. This is the detent. So I'm not going to take this one apart because I already put this one together. This one's going out to a customer, but I just wanted to show you what I do. And you can look at my other videos. I will still reinforce the tube, even on these 16 J valves. I also, since you've taken the marker apart this far to run HPA, I have found personally that the HDBs, HDRs, whatever, HPA runs better with the upgraded O-ring, not the stock one. The stock O-ring is good for CO2. That's just my personal findings. So anyway, once you get it to this part here, same thing with the screwdriver. You just work this thing around. Put this part here you could take off. Take that off. And then you stick your hand over all this, either your right or your left, and you slowly pop this piece up. You have to be careful because it's under spring tension. You want that spring and this thing flying all over the place. And then, so once you take that apart, you'll have your valve. So when you get your valve out, and you can see this one I've reinforced as well already because I like to do that on all of my stuff. You get a pair of O-ring snap pliers like this. You'll get it in here in these 2 spots. And then you twist this off like so. Okay, and then I've already taken the block out, but after you take this off, then you'd use like, I've used like dowel rods and like a long Allen wrench. You just go in this way, and you just a little tap with a hammer, it'll pop the black out, and there's also a little baby O-ring like this. He's right down in there. Make sure you get that out. Otherwise, I mean, it's not a big deal. You'll shoot it out. It's not going to do anything. But anyways, this is where most of your power is going to come from. You pull that black out. And at this point, I would take a pair of pick. You pick out the old O-ring, and I've got a video on how to do this. You can go check out my channel. You'll pick that baby out of there, and that's a clear one. You take that one and discard it, and then get some lube up a O-ring. Here's the ones that I use. Other people will say there's a little bit different measurements. I found these to work quite well. There's the measurements, and get a 90 Duro. That's what you want. Lube that O-ring, stick it in there. You can use the same Allen wrench on the other side to work it with a plastic pick, not a metal one, with a little bit of a hook, and you hook your O-ring, put it in there, make sure it's seated nice. Lube this up with some grease, put on your bumper, okay? Put this back on. Obviously, if this is a hard time coming off, that means some genius tried to Loctite it. So just heat it up for, you know, a couple of moments or whatever, and you'll be able to break it open. I have had to do major surgery on one of these once. I had to pull this thing off and drill it because they used like, I don't know what kind of Loctite. They used like kryptonite Loctite or something. But anyways, if you're looking at this tube, you're like, what is that stuff? If I haven't told you before, I've got videos on reinforcement. This is one of the new 16J valves. I still reinforce it. So this is like 5 times reinforced. I don't mess around. Anyway, put it all back together, after you get your bolt on and the bumper and you put the spring and the black part on. Let me lift this up real gently here. This part, I've had better luck taking this apart and then putting it back in, but basically with that spring and this part here, you just squeeze it, pop it in. One thing I did forget to mention, try not to lose these things. These will hook up to your 2 Allen heads. These things are world famous for going flying. So when you take your thing apart like this, make sure you grab those 2. And then your detent, what I've done is taken some tape and you put the detent in here. And then what I do with the tape is I'll stick the one in there, and then I fold this down, and then I'll put this part of the shell on the other top, and it makes it so it's not going to go anywhere, and then that helps with some of the air release. So we have found through testing that a little bit of air gets through there. Also, another quick tip is when you're putting your barrel back in that detent, this is a little sloppy. So what I do is we take a little bit of electrical tape, roll it around about 2 wraps, not too much more, and then that'll be a little bit stiffer in there, not as much play, and then you put that back in, and then that's less place for air to escape. And the whole deal is with these HDBs is you don't want the air escaping because that's bad. You want all the air pushing the round out. So once you got all that put back together, put your case back on, put all your screws back in, make sure you put this thing back on. Okay, put it all back together. I highly recommend you take pictures. That's good. Oh, what do you know? I got my bare hands here. Put it all back together, and then, boom, just start putting it back together with your shell. Put your shell on. Put your valve assembly in there. The reinforcement will not get in the way of anything here. Then you put your follower in with the top part where the barrel goes in. When you're putting this on, if you could just move this back a little bit, this will plop right in there real nice. I have found that a lot of times the people at the Umarex factory forget like 1 or 2 of these. Check these to make sure they're all in. That will make a difference. It'll cause this thing to bind in there. So you want to make sure all the screws are in there. Put it all back together. Then put your second half of your shell on. Then you put your top part on here, that top part on there, and this will be the finished product. Obviously, this one here is for sale. It's a 7.5 HPA ready. So this one's already done. This is what's going to obviously look like when it's all put back together. There's no rounds in there. So now this marker is ready for HPA. So now you just take this guy off, save it for later. And where is, there we go. So Home Defense 24 got, you know, different sizes of these, bigger, smaller. The bigger one's going to hold more air. This one's a little bit more compact. Then another company, I think they're in California. Can't think of the name of them right now. Oh, Mortal Kombat Sports, I believe. Or Modern, or I don't know, one of those two names, I don't know. Anyways, this will screw into there, real nice. Squeeze it in all the way. And then basically I would recommend an ASA and then your HPA bottle onto here. And then you are good to go, you're golden. With that setup, you're going to get at least probably between, depending on what you use in here, and I would recommend you use the Grimbergs. I would recommend on an old school one if you've got a Gen 1. The Gen 2s, sometimes those Grimbergs get kind of jammed. I mean, the trigger will get jammed, then you got to push it forward with your finger and then pull it. I've had way better success with these 6 gram, and actually I've had really good success with the Home Wrecker 4.5 gram. They don't bind in there. I would recommend no rubber rounds. And the next one I'm going to try in the HDB that I haven't got yet that I'm going to is the 9.9 gram wrecking ball from Home Wrecker. So Kaizo, if you're listening and watching, you will be getting an order soon. Anyway, once you're got the rounds loaded, you're ready to go. Twist your ASA and the pin will pop out the back, and voila, that's the easiest way to run HPA. And I went through the whole thing because in all honesty, you probably could just take that the piercing cap off and put in this adapter and then throw HPA on it. You're probably still not going to get, you'll get pretty decent numbers, but you do run the risk of blowing that O-ring out. The O-ring, I've noticed those 90 Duro O-rings do not like CO2 that much. I like the stock O-ring for that, and a disc in here. That's just me. You can do whatever you want. When you run HPA though, no disc, no valve block, and you've seen my videos. I've gotten up to, you know, 80 plus joules with this. This is a great home defense marker. I love this thing. Some of the other ways to run HPA, you could do it buttstock. You could do it with the tank mount on this thing. You can look at our Sweet Home Chicago. We got the bottle mounted here with a little airline going right in there. That's another way to run the bottle up here with 88 gram CO2 and then just bring it like real quick into the back here. Lots of different ways, but this is the simplest way. You don't need to cut nothing, do nothing. You just need to take the marker apart, take your time, take pictures, okay? And you'll get it. And then I'd highly recommend changing that O-ring. I don't know if you could see that or not. This one O-ring has been changed because it's going to be HPA. If you get the new valves, you don't probably have to do this, but I do it just because I do it. And there's videos on this. I feel safer with this. I've done a bunch of markers before they fixed them with this. They're out there. I've had no complaints. I've sold a bunch of them. I have a bunch of them here that I test like all the time. HPA is fine. I think the whole deal with those valves is when people start cranking these with that stinking Allen wrench. But Umarex is getting rid of that completely. It's going bye-bye on all markers. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but some of you have seen the HDR50. That's going to go on all their markers. That Allen key is going bye-bye. So that's how you the simplest I could show you how to put the HPA on an HDB. Thank you for watching this video. We're going to bring you some more how-to videos in the future. maybe we'll do one next on how to put a buttstock one on. That seems like a very popular way to go. I particularly don't like buttstock on the HDB. That's me personally, because it brings it out longer, like another foot. I like keeping this thing compact. I like the bottle here with the line running here. It's nice and super compact, and you can put the laser here or whatever, or, you know, you can custom mount some Picatinny here, whatever you want. I don't like the buttstock hanging out here. Plus, I think it's more work cutting all that clamshell out. Some guys like it, some don't. I don't hate it. I'd rather do it easier going off the bottom underneath. And I have found that, and other people have too, have found that running HPA up the bottom, you'll get a little bit better numbers. I don't know how true that is. So far, I've found that to be true. Anyway, long video, guys. Sorry about that. We're going on the 16-minute mark here. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. We got some cool stuff coming up. We got a Z-RAM shipment coming in. That's going to be great. Lots of cool goodies in that box. Can't wait for that. We're going to have a opening of a home wrecker box. That's coming up soon. More Home Defense 24 stuff coming up. And hint, hint, how do you do an M with your fingers and stuff? How about 3 fingers down? How about M17? Oh, yeah, that's coming up too. Mr. Fellow less lethal enthusiast in Canada got me all hyped up on that, Mr. Kemper, with that M17 video made. Good night. Anyway, that's in the future too. That's coming up. Thank you again, guys, for watching. We'll leave you with the Bible verse, Luke 22:36, and he who hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. Maybe even buy one just like this. Guys, thanks again for watching. The simplest way to get HPA on your HDB68. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you.